the awareness of mental health or mental illness probably first emerged for me as a 12-year-old. It was like a fire within me that I couldn't put out. But I was encouraged to just kind of keep it, unseen, unheard. My name is Larry Bryant. I'm a native of Washington, D.C., currently living in Brooklyn, New York. I came in contact with NAMI-NYC City first as a support programs coordinator. I teach classes, the NAMI peer-to-peer class, family to family. And I learned about NAMI-NYC City through working with NAMI, and I understood how much those services and support meant, not just for anyone that needs them around New York City, but for myself. My parents divorced when I was really young. We moved a lot because my dad was in the Air Force. Those feelings of anxiousness just seemed to grow. So a lot of these things were kind of attributed to, I'm a kid, I can be sensitive, but I'm a boy, so I'm not supposed to be sensitive. And all the activities I was engaged in, playing sports, were ways to kind of fill that energy. But as I grew older, those quote unquote sensitive feelings, those feelings of depression, of anxiousness, just seemed to grow. As I got to high school, I was a great athlete. I was an All-American in football. Getting a scholarship was based on how I looked and sounded to scouts and recruiters. In college, after my freshman year, I was diagnosed HIV positive, and I was essentially told that I had 7 to 8 years to live. I thought I was going to die. I had no one I could talk to about my depression. I ended up dropping out of school. I lived around the campus, and my family knew something was wrong, but they didn't know the totality of it. And one day, I took a little bit too many pills, drank a little bit too much, and just ended up passing out on a friend of mine's doorstep, which led me to a hospital. After a week, I left the hospital. I said I need to do something, and I wanted to be measured by what I did with my life at that point. But it wasn't until NAMI that I actually walked into a place, and as I was being described the position and the things that NAMI-NYC City does, is when I was like, oh, wait a minute, I might need some of that. But that was really the turning point that made me identify and articulate, to put into words what I was feeling, what my journey was to that point, and being able to share that with others who look and sound like me. And I think that's important for all of NAMI-NYC. We want to make sure it's a kind of not a one-size-fits-all process, but it is open to communities and individuals to be able to use that support and education in a way that best benefits them. And the more we can, and I can be a tool in kind of building those bridges, then the more successful I feel in the process. And of course, the more successful the NAMI-NYC in getting to the people that most need them. And I think that's the big thing, whether it's family to family, peer to peer, is providing these spaces where people feel safe, seen, and heard. I don't ever want to feel like I'm going into the room as an expert. I'm going into the room as a peer, and you're inviting other peers to bring in their experiences. And that's really it. It's just being able to provide the space where people can just talk. I'm proud to be a part of that, and certainly a representative of NAMI-NYC in doing so. In a lot of ways, my HIV management over the last 38 years is far simpler and far more direct than my mental health management through most of my life. I still have moments where I have to identify my anxiousness, being able to utilize tools like breathing techniques, developing my own recovery plan are tools that I've learned through NAMI-NYC City and through some of the classes. Those resources have been a lifesaver and continue to be a lifesaver for me. And I do not want to imagine my life without having those tools. I continue to say and think I am lucky to be here. I don't know how I can express that any more directly. But those tools continue to help. And every class, everyone I come in contact with, I share that as well. So I'm hoping that the word's getting out.